Hey everyone, my name is Nikki and welcome to my channel. I am a new grad labor and delivery nurse, and today I wanted to share some of the pros and cons that I experienced with my nurse residency program in hopes of helping you guys decide if that's the right career path for you. So if you are interested in this topic, please like this video, and if you have anything to add or any questions, drop them down below and subscribe to my channel. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm and helps me to grow my channel. So with that, let's just start on this video. So starting with the positive, my first advantage of getting hired into a nurse residency program is that it's the easiest way to get a job as a new grad, because obviously they're looking for new grads. As a new grad, you really don't have much to offer and you're no competition for a position that is open for everyone, because what employer would choose a new graduate with no experience over a nurse that has even 2 years of experience? Because obviously she's better qualified, she will require less resources in order to become a functioning nurse on the floor. The second advantage of getting into a nurse residency program is the opportunity to get hired onto specialty units. Specialty units that are usually highly competitive will actually take new grads from the nurse residency program and train them into their unit without any experience, which I think is a very rare opportunity and is hard to do in other situations. People from my cohort got hired into mother-baby, newborn nursery, as well as ICU, ED, and even the periop program that my hospital offers. So there are people that are learning to be OR nurses right now. So that's really cool, and I think it's really difficult to get into in other situations, and it's a great opportunity. And if you are interested in those kinds of areas, I would highly recommend looking into nurse residency programs. Next, nurse residency programs really provide you with a lot of resources to solidify and reinforce the things that you learned in nursing school. This is actual stuff that you are going to be using in your job every day and is going to support you into becoming a competent nurse. The two nurses that run my program are also great resources and have always been there for any of us that have any questions, and they're always our first go-to. They always make it known that we can always go to them with all of our questions, and if they don't know the answer, they'll either direct us to the person that does or find the answer for us, which is really valuable. And it makes me feel like I am not just thrown out there to the wolves. Advantage number 4 is that you get paired up with a mentor in at least my nurse residency program, and I'm sure that is the case in other programs, but it's nice to have someone that you can always go to, you can always ask questions, you can vent to them, express your frustrations, express your wins and what you're succeeding in. And in my case, it's someone that's not on my unit, so you can feel free to talk to them about anything that's going on, which I think is valuable, and it can help with some of the stresses of learning to become a nurse. And advantage number 5, and the last one that I have for you guys, is the opportunity to connect with people that are in the same boat as you. So you have your cohort. In my case, it's like 43 or something. So there's 43 other new graduate nurses that are going through the same thing as me that I can go to with my like dumb questions that I don't want to ask like a real person, and connect with them. And it's just nice to know that people are going through the same thing and might be struggling with the same struggles that you're going through, because it is tough transitioning into a functioning nurse, and I'm still at the very beginning of my journey, and it's nice to have other people that I can express myself to and that I know can understand where I'm coming from. Moving on to disadvantages, my first disadvantage is that you do have to spend some time on units that you might not be particularly interested in. So I know that different nurse residency programs have different structures, but in mine, the first 10 weeks of our program, we spent rotating through different units in the hospital. So everyone rotated through the med-surg units, and then you had a selection of specialties that you could choose to rotate to. A lot of people wanted specialties, so the days that you were able to rotate to them were limited. If you don't know, I'm a labor and delivery nurse, and that was a specialty that I wanted to get into, and unfortunately I only got 2 days on that unit. Limiting the time that you have on specialty units decreases your ability to stand out and to impress the manager and the other staff nurses, which is hard to do in and of itself, let alone when you only have 2 days in a 10-week period to impress someone and to get your name out there. So that was challenging, but it's doable, and you just have to to be a little bit creative, step out of your box, and get out of your comfort zone. Number 2 on my list of disadvantages is the potential for you not to get placed in your specialty of choice. When I got hired into the program, they said, we do guarantee you a position, but we do not guarantee you a spot in your specialty or in the area of your interest. So this can be seen as a disadvantage because you're not being placed on the unit that you want to be placed on, but it is still an advantage because you still have a job. And all hospitals are different, but for the hospital that I work at, if you're placed on a unit, you can switch out of that unit after a year. So you still get the necessary experience, and hospitals are more likely to hire internally than take someone that's outside of the hospital and bring them in for a position. So if a position opens up after a year in the specialty that you want to be in, you have an advantage getting into that specialty than someone else. My third disadvantage actually has to do with one of my advantages that I mentioned earlier, which was that the program provides you with a lot of resources. This disadvantage stems from the fact that there are classes and other educational things that we are obligated to be a part of. So for my program, every month we have a 4-hour class, and this can seem kind of repetitive and boring because these are things that we all learned in nursing school that we don't really need reinforcement on. I think we got those down. It can kind of make the process towards becoming a new grad nurse kind of slow and make it seem like it's really easy and you just want to jump ahead. But I promise you, once you get onto your unit and you start working, it's not going to seem like that. My fourth disadvantage is that some nurse residency programs make you sign a contract. So in my case, I had to sign a 2-year contract stating that I would be a full-time employee for at least 2 years. And I understand the reasoning behind the contract because these nurse residency programs really pour a lot of effort and money into training you as a new grad nurse. And if you just orient with them, go maybe 6 months to a year, they're losing money on you. Why would they spend money on someone that's just going to take what they learned and apply it to another job at another organization? Also, I'm sure all of you have heard that it takes 1 to 2 years for any nurse to feel at least remotely competent and to gain enough experience. So in my case, I don't really mind signing that contract because I plan to stay in this position for at least 2 years, if not longer. And then number 5, my last disadvantage of nurse residency programs is the fact that some programs will pay you less until you're out of the orientation phase. Luckily, this is not something that I have to deal with, but I do have friends that are getting paid less just because they're training and they have preceptors and they're during orientation. So for example, my orientation for labor and delivery is 20 weeks long on top of the 10 weeks that I rotated through different units before I got placed on this unit. So that would have been 30 weeks of me being paid less than I am right now, which is a substantial amount of money that I would be missing on. So that is definitely something to pay attention to when you're looking at nurse residency programs. That concludes my pros and cons of a nurse residency program. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful. If so, leave your thoughts, comments, and questions down below and hit that thumbs up button down there. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm and helps me to grow my channel. I post a video every Sunday, so if you guys are interested in following me on my journey and listening to some more of my tips and insights, please subscribe to my channel. And thanks for watching. See you guys next week. Bye.